If it's happening in New York, New Jersey, or Long Island, hear about it with Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.
Colonel Jack Jacobs is a true American hero, best-selling author, Medal of Honor recipient for his service in Vietnam, and military analyst for NBC News. Jack, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Hey, thanks, Joe. Good to be with you.
You too. I miss you. I know we're due to sit down at a dinner. You've been running around. We've been running around. It's been crazy. But, Colonel, we always appreciate your expertise, my friend. Tell me, first of all, I love the Space Force, Jack. I love this whole idea. I could see you leading it, you know? You with Buzz Aldrin. Colonel Jack.
Why, because I'm spacey?
No, man. Come on. Do you think that's... Did the president, do you think, Jack, in your military experience, Colonel, do you think the president heard something that China's doing, and that's why he started even mentioning this Space Force idea?
Not just China, but Russia too. And we've been concerned about this for 4 or 5 administrations. It started out with a concern about all the space junk collecting, and which is a danger both to space vehicles and to people on the Earth. And the whole idea of weaponizing space has been a goal of our adversaries for some time, and they're making some progress doing it. There's no doubt about the fact that we wanted to do something. We couldn't figure out how to do it. And, of course, the way to do it is to put somebody in charge of it, and then it's a great likelihood it will get done. There is some resistance to it, principally because it's going to cost money, and they got to figure out how they're going to pay for it and where they're going to get the people for it. But the idea of doing something about the threats that are going to exist, and in some cases exist already in space, which is a whole other battlefield, a three-dimensional battlefield. The idea about thinking about doing something about it, putting somebody in charge of it, that's been a long time coming. It's about time.
Yeah, don't you think? Buzz Aldrin, how about that? You know, he's 87. Have you seen him? Have you met? Because, we're all in Jersey. Have you met Buzz Aldrin? See how
I have indeed, a couple of times.
Yeah.
And he's a genuine character. He really is.
He's a tough guy, Jack, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. I mean, anytime you put, maybe it was him, or it could have been. It was one of the astronauts, but it sounds like something Buzz Aldrin would say. Though I'm not convinced he said it when he said, it's very disconcerting to be sitting on top of a giant Roman candle that was constructed by the lowest bidder. It's very, very dangerous.
It is. Hey, Jack. So, what do you think of the decision to suspend war games with South Korea, sir?
Well, that's a lousy idea. The thing about the war games is that they're a recurring exercise, and they're there to test the interoperability of a joint and combined forces, communications, and just about everything else. And it has very little to do with Korea. It's mostly, almost completely, a test of our defense against Russia and China. And the defense of our interests in the Pacific generally. So it has very little to do about Korea at all. And so I'm concerned. Suspending it's a very, very bad idea. Not only does it make us less capable in the Pacific, an area where we need to be more capable, but also it sends a really bad message to both our allies on the one hand and our adversaries on the other, Joe.
Well, is there anything that would stop us from simply resuming them, these war games, so we could just pick it up and start it again? Correct?
Pick it up and start it again, and I think it was an ill-informed decision to go ahead and stop them. It's a very, very bad idea. That we need to get back into the groove of doing that and doing it repeatedly, frequently as we have done in the past. As soon as we possibly can.
But overall, what do you think of the Singapore summit, Colonel Jacobs?
The bit with Korea?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's very interesting. I got to tell you, my view has always been, and it still is, that Korea is not the threat that everybody thinks it is. North Korea's got nuclear weapons, but it isn't going to use them. The only reason they have them is because they're a continuing criminal enterprise, and what they want to do is prevent other countries from turning over the Kim regime. And by the way, that includes China. They're trying to distance themselves from China a bit. They're using the nuclear weapons as a ploy to get us to relax the economic sanctions, which they desperately want lifted.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I don't think that we've dealt very well with them. They're not going to attack the United States. They're not going to attack South Korea because we'd annihilate them. And what's happened now is that we've decided to suspend the field training exercises in exchange for nothing.
Yeah.
We've gotten absolutely nothing in return, and we got to wise up pretty soon. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves in a very bad situation in what is amounting to an increasingly dangerous Pacific, Joe.
Yeah, Colonel Jacobs, to that point, as I see Kim Jong-un and I see him get off the Air China airplane, Jack, I mean, and I don't mean to be disrespectful because this really is, it was kind of monumental. It was epic, I said, that the president at least has gone this far. But it looked like, to me, like Kim Jong-un was he lost a little bit? But he looked like he was just a minion of China. He was just like a minion of China. And President Xi of China said, all right, Kim, you just go meet with the president because this is my guy. And he looked like he was on orders from China. Am I misinterpreting this, Jack?
No, not at all. I mean, I mentioned that they're trying to distance themselves from China, but that's mostly for economic reasons. The large majority of support that goes to North Korea comes from China. I think 80 to 90% of the gross domestic product in North Korea comes from China. So they want to be a little bit more independent economically because they're not surviving on what they're getting from China. On the other hand, politically, you're absolutely correct. First of all, Xi is in total control of China. I mean, he's like president for life, so he's not going anywhere. And I've said it before, and I've been repeating things that smarter people have said down through the years. All roads to Pyongyang go through Beijing. So you're absolutely correct about that.
Yeah, Jack Jacobs, he is the Medal of Honor recipient, just a great guy, a great warrior. About Vietnam, hey, Jack, when you think about Vietnam and how I will pick up a shirt and I will just buy a shirt and it says "Made in Vietnam." I mean, you have no animus after what you went through and with the battle. If you Google Jack Jacobs and you saw what this man went through in the heat of battle, you have any animus? I mean, I can't speak because I never had the privilege to serve, but do you get angry? You go, what? What? I was fighting over there. Now they're making shirts over there? You don't feel that way, correct, Colonel?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I went back about 5 year or 5 years ago. I went back to Vietnam on my first visit there. The government of Vietnam found the enemy commander against whom I fought in 1968. And he was living next door to a bicycle repair shop. He was 82 years old. He's probably gone by now. And he had been a Viet Cong district commander in my area. We walked into a giant ambush, and I sat down with him. We did a package for Nightly News about that on NBC's Nightly News.
Yeah.
And we talked for an hour and a half about the battle. I mean, we were old soldiers talking about a battle in which they fought, and I learned. I got some things confirmed that I had suspected, and other things that I did not know at all. And we talked about the fight. Like I said, I was a professional soldier, and so was he. And I think the same thing has happened in other wars. And it's not that we're burying the hatchet or any of that stuff, but we do a lot of business in Vietnam. They're not one of our allies, but they're certainly one of our friends. And going back there was less a revelation than to close the book on a chapter of my life, and I enjoyed it immensely.
Wow, Jack Jacobs, Colonel Jack Jacobs, he is a true American hero. Jack, what a privilege to have you on the show always. I cherish our friendship, and we will get together sooner than later, my friend.
All right, buddy. Thanks so much, Joe.
Thank Colonel Jack Jacobs. Thank you, sir. He's the best-selling author, Medal of Honor recipient, a true American hero, and military analyst for NBC News. Piscopo in the morning.
Everybody knows this guy. Now, everybody knows he can do a radio show. Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.